The 12-inch action figure of Bulletman was first introduced in 1975, and he remains the most gloriously odd addition to Hasbro's G.I. Joe Adventure Team line. While this character has been largely ignored by vintage Joe collectors for many years, the passage of time has gifted many of us with a newfound appreciation for the toy, and nice examples of the Bulletman action figure have now become highly sought after collectible pieces. For a very long time I believed that Bulletman was simply a Hasbro toy creation, so I was absolutely fascinated when I began to learn of the character's rich history, which dates all the way back to the 1940s. So in today's video we're going to discuss the history of Bulletman in depth, and also take a close-up look at this amazing 1970s action figure. Stay tuned.
Come with me, toy fans.
Hey toy fans, my name is Tony and welcome to Analog Toys, where we're obsessed with bringing you the history of vintage toys and action figures. And today we're taking a look at the history of Bulletman. Before becoming the G.I. Joe action figure that we know and love, Bulletman was a golden age comic book superhero, with the character being created by Bill Parker and John Small. Bulletman made his first appearance in Nickel Comics issue number 1, which was published by Fawcett Comics in May of 1940. In the original storyline, Bulletman is the alter ego of Jim Barr, a character who became an orphan when gangsters murdered his father, Police Sergeant Pat Barr, and Jim vows to devote his life to eliminating crime from that moment on. Jim's physical stature prevented him from being able to pass the police entry test, but he stays true to his vow by becoming a police forensic scientist and ballistic expert. Like many other characters of the era, Jim uses chemistry to develop powers, and through the use of his crime cure serum, he develops greater muscle mass and brain power. Jim also invents a bullet-shaped gravity regulator helmet, which allows him to fly and deflect bullets, and he fashions himself a costume to become the crime-fighting superhero, Bulletman. Despite early success, Fawcett Comics got drawn into a legal dispute over claims that their Captain Marvel character infringed the copyright of the popular Superman. So in 1953, while also facing a declining comics market, Fawcett Comics ceased publication of its superhero titles and settled the ongoing court case, which left the rights to the Bulletman character in somewhat of a copyright limbo for several decades. Fast forward to 1975 and the popularity of Hasbro's G.I. Joe toy line was waning. Prior to this, the company had seen enormous success in the latter half of the 1960s with Joe's military-themed products, and the brand also managed to effectively reinvent itself in the early 1970s with the G.I. Joe Adventure Team. However, by the middle of the decade, G.I. Joe was struggling to compete against other popular action figure lines, such as Mattel's Big Jim and Mego's immensely successful line of World's Greatest Superhero figures. Hasbro had also failed to secure the toy merchandising license to the hit new television series The $6 Million Man, the rights to which eventually went to rival toy company Kenner. Hasbro were losing market share in toy aisles, so the company hatched a plan. In order to compete with Kenner's $6 Million Man, Hasbro introduced Mike Power the Atomic Man into the G.I. Joe toy line, and in a bid to combat the popularity of Mego's superhero figures, they also brought to the market Bulletman, the Human Bullet. DC Comics would later claim it owned the rights to Bulletman after picking up the Fawcett option in 1972, but at the time the legal situation was murky enough that Hasbro was able to produce the Bulletman action figure without any legal action being filed by DC. So while this figure was never an officially licensed version of the character, the similarities in appearance are hard to deny. Bulletman was given the new G.I. Joe Adventure Team style muscle body design, but unlike the rest of the Joe figures in the line, Bulletman features a stunning pair of chromed arms, which also include the earlier style fixed G.I. Joe hands, likely due to the fact that the rubbery kung fu grip hands being used at the time couldn't be vac metallized, even though this prototype image is proof that Hasbro did attempt it. It should be noted that the rubber connectors used on all the G.I. Joe muscle body figures perish over time, which makes it extremely difficult to track down unbroken Bulletman figures today. But lucky for us collectors, the Toy Polloi YouTube channel has produced a series of 3 videos explaining how to fully restore this figure and his outfit. And speaking of his outfit, let's take a closer look at Bulletman's costume. The action figure is equipped with a pair of boots that are manufactured from a thin vinyl material, and Bulletman wears a black elastic belt around a red leotard that has his Bullet logo located in the centre of the chest. Topping off the costume is the character's beautifully designed chromed helmet that is shaped like a silver bullet. Stitched onto the back of Bulletman's outfit is 2 metal loops that a child can use to thread a line through and simulate Bulletman's flying powers. While Bulletman does feature the same articulation as all the other G.I. Joe figures in the line, he also has a unique head sculpt, which would later be reused by Hasbro for their ill-fated Defenders toy line. As gorgeous as this figure is, it did not sell well in the 1970s, despite Hasbro's best efforts. The toy company heavily promoted the Bulletman action figure in print ads, and he even received his own television commercial, but it's this advertisement that actually explains how Bulletman became a member of the G.I. Joe adventure team. In the mini-comic strip, eagle-eyed G.I. Joe and Mike Power the Atomic Man are attempting to stop a river from flooding a nearby town, when Bulletman flies in and saves the day. And after he joins up, the adventure team becomes known as the Super Adventure Team. But I believe the real reason that Bulletman didn't sell well in the US in the 1970s is because he simply didn't fit that well in the G.I. Joe universe. It was a leap too far in logic, so to speak. In 1976, the year after Hasbro released the Bulletman action figure, the character got a second shot at comic book fame, appearing as one of the heroes of Earth S in DC's Justice League of America, issue number 135, and the year after that, British toy company Polloi introduced the Bulletman action figure into their hugely popular Action Man toy line.
It's the Action Man team on patrol looking for the intruder, strongman from another world. Action Man spots him with his eagle eyes. Too late, the intruder's got Tom Stone in a vicious bear hug. Atomic Man lets him have it with an atomic right. The intruder is stunned, but not for long, and the chase is on. Action Man checks out underwater in the Seawolf, the action team submarine that actually dives and surfaces. No luck. He takes to the skies with his turbocopter and spots the intruder's hideout from above. This is a job for Bulletman, the human bullet. That'll flush him out. And here comes Action Man in the capture copter. Mission accomplished.
Action Man.
Although I have an Action Man Bulletman box here on the table, this is simply a reproduction box, and my version of Bulletman is from the G.I. Joe Adventure Team line. And this is easy to identify because there is a major difference between the Hasbro and Polloi versions of this figure. For the British release of this toy, Polloi opted to give Bulletman a pair of chromed rockets that attached to the back of his boots, a neat addition that is absent on the Hasbro version of the figure. Polloi also opted to make Bulletman a member of the all-new Action Man team, a team that also included Tom Stone, the Action Man Desert Fighter, and Atomic Man, who is a British redesign of Hasbro's Mike Power Atomic Man figure. The Action Man team was assembled to do battle with the Intruder, the arch enemy of the Action Man team. And just like Bulletman, the Intruder was also designed by Hasbro, and Polloi simply borrowed the tooling to introduce the figure into the Action Man line. While Bulletman lasted longer in the Action Man team than he did as a member of G.I. Joe's Super Adventure Team, he was still scorned by many children of the era, for the same reason that he wasn't popular in the United States. His superhero persona did not fit well within the highly realistic world of Action Man. Love him or hate him, you can't deny that Bulletman is the most marvellously weird addition to either the G.I. Joe or Action Man toy lines. And I just love these kinds of obscure figures, and Bulletman will always hold a special place in my heart, alongside Rom the Space Knight, Captain Zargon, and even the French-only release of Zorro. Bulletman also fits in seamlessly with Mego's 12-inch range of superhero action figures, and perhaps he and Superman can fight it out and finally settle that 1940s copyright dispute. While Bulletman is certainly a lesser known hero with a level of fame far removed from the likes of Captain America or Spider-Man, he still makes occasional appearances in modern pop culture, even being featured in an episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold in 2011. Hasbro's Bulletman the Human Bullet is a strikingly beautiful action figure, and whether you accepted him in the 1970s or not, he is a significant entry in both the G.I. Joe and Action Man toy lines, and no vintage collection can ever be considered truly complete without him. So that's the history of Bulletman, and if you like this video and you'd like to check out our video about the Rom the Space Knight action figure, you can click right here. Or to check out our video about the entire Kenner $6 Million Man toy line, you can click right here. I'm Tony from Analog Toys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.